Mario Kart can finally be taken on the go with the advent of the Gameboy Advance release of Mario Kart Super Circuit in 2001, showcasing 20 original tracks and remaking all 20 tracks from the Super Nintendo version. Mario Kart Super Circuit paved the way for all the future handheld Mario Karts to come. Let's take a look at all the different tracks in part 3 of our Mario Kart retrospective. We've partnered up with Happy Kids for this series, so download the app and watch for free. Welcome back, everyone. It's Abdallah here with even more Mario Kart retrospective. In part 3, we're going to be going over the game Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance. Yes, take a look at this thing. This is an ancient relic from back in the day, 2001, where I used to play this thing all the time. I'd keep it in my backpack. I would play Mario Kart on the go. Honestly, Mario Kart Super Circuit is one of the most underrated titles. I think that a lot more people should play it. I think that there was a really awesome rating system, and it was a true love letter to both the N64 version and the Super Nintendo version because it had its own 20 unique tracks in the game, and it also remade all of the old tracks from the Super Nintendo version into one small cartridge. Anyway, this game was super fun, the Rainbow Road is super unique, and I really enjoyed the difficulty of this game, and depending on how well you did in the Grand Prix, you got rated anywhere from like some super low letter ratings to like triple star rank. So you'd be a really pro Mario Kart player if you triple starred the entire game. Anyway, what we're gonna do on episode 3 of this retrospective is go through all 20 of the original tracks. I'll show you one lap in each of them so you can kind of see where Mario Kart was in 2001, and then we'll go through the extra tracks. That's if you were good enough to unlock them within the game. We'll go through all 20 of those just to show you exactly what it looks like in the Super Circuit version compared to Mario Kart back on Super Nintendo. Anyway, it's going to be a great time. Thanks so much for watching. And of course, our next Mario Kart that we're going to talk about is a fan favorite called Mario Kart Double Dash. So stick around. We're going to show you guys all these different one laps. We've got a whole bunch of tips and tricks and some different trivia along the way. So let me know which one of these levels is your favorite. Let's hit the track with Mario Kart Super Circuit. I wanted to show off the different characters available over here, and as you can see, some of these models are very similar to the models that are in the Nintendo 64 version, and right off the bat, you can see that the game explicitly states how fast they are, and of course, what their weight is. So all these characters are the exact same roster as the N64 version, which came out, not too long before this. But you'll notice that the gameplay is very much like Super Nintendo's version of Super Mario Kart. Anyway, we're going to jump in over here. All the characters are relatively good. You can see over here Mario and Luigi are going to be your middleweights. You've got Peach and Toad, who are the fastest and the lightweights. Yoshi's kind of somewhere in the middle. Bowser is going to be the super heavyweight. And then DK and Wario are kind of in the same boat that way. So let's jump on in with Mario, and I'll showcase exactly what's going on with these levels. If you take a look over here, there's going to be a total of 5 cups this time around, a little bit more than the N64 version. You've got the Mushroom Cup with 4 levels each. You got the Flower Cup, you've got Lightning, Star Cup, and they've added in a special cup with Rainbow Road. Now, not only that, but this is a true love letter to the Super Nintendo game, because if you unlock the extra tracks and you press the L button, you'll then be able to play literally every track from the Super Nintendo game. How awesome is that? So not only do you get the, 20 tracks, you get an additional more based off of that. So anyway, we can go over here and do Rainbow Road from the Super Nintendo version, or you can just play all of the ones that are unique to this specific game. So without further ado, let's jump on into Mushroom Cup and show you one lap in each of these awesome new levels. Let's start off the Mushroom Cup with none other than Peach Circuit. This one's going to be pretty fun simply because you can see Peach's castle out in the background. And you'll notice that the gameplay of Mario Kart Super Circuit is a lot like the Super Nintendo game, simply because the character stays in the middle of the screen and the entire map rotates around. Now, this one was a pretty awesome game considering the fact that you can play this on the go on the Game Boy Advance. So let's continue on. It's time for Shy Guy Beach. Oh my gosh, you can see some Shy Guy on some pirate ships in the background, so take a look at that one. Just like Koopa Beach in the previous iteration, you can see that there is going to be some different water elements, there's going to be some crabs. If you ever do run into a crab, you can slam the brakes and avoid spinning out, just like I did right over there, which is actually pretty fun. Of course, over here, you go a little bit slower in the water, so make sure that you hop accordingly. Watch out for the grass. Do a little mini turbo right over that way, and you're all set and ready to go. Get ready for Riverside Park. This one's quite interesting. It kind of reminds me of DK's Jungle Parkway on the N64. This one's got a lot of very fun U-turns that you can get some actual mini turbos in, which I did right over that way. You'll see over here that there is going to be some zippers that allow you to pretty much zip straight over the river. Just be very careful. The cool thing about this game is that if you do have a mushroom, you can combo that with the zipper in order to get some mad airtime. Really, really cool to try that out. Anyway, here's going to be the one last spot. You've got to be very careful about this. Make sure you have enough speed so that you can hop over this section. Yeah, and you're all set. And here we go, the last level of the Mushroom Cup is none other than Bowser Castle 1. You can see that there's going to be a lot of lava, there's going to be a lot of right-angled turns like there usually is, and these thwomps do not mess around because these guys will easily smash you on the first lap, like they don't even care about that. You can watch out for the fire over that way. If you do end up getting hit by it, you'll eventually spin out, so just keep on going, man. So that was the entire Mushroom Cup. Let's jump into the Flower Cup right now and showcase all 4 of these fun levels. We've got another iteration of Bowser Castle, and I can't wait to show you what Cheeseland looks like. Alright, let's do it! It's time for Mario Circuit. I'm excited for this one because there's a really cool little zipper at the very end that you can choose to use. Anyway, this one's going to be a great way of practicing your mini turbos and power slides around the corner. Simply put, if you hold the R button around a turn for 1 to 2 seconds, you'll get a little burst of speed, and I showed you that on that very first one. It's very helpful that these little on-screen indicators showcase that there's a U-turn. Right over this way, there's a little zipper that you can use in order to go way fast past the ending. Here we go, jumping into Boo Lake. Don't be scared, although you can fall off, and that's not really fun. So anyway, let's jump into it. I'll show you guys exactly what's going on here. As you can see, we got some different zippers that are going to allow you to go way, way quick in this level. You'll also see that there's winding paths and a whole bunch of things. Don't touch any of the edges on the side, because if you do, you'll eventually eliminate those tiles, and you can potentially lose. You'll see right over that way, I did a little bit of a shortcut. Yeah, it's very risky. It's a very tight little spot there on the bridge. So anyway, jumping on this way, and we're going to be able to do that a couple more times. It's just as it says, a land made out of cheese. Now, this one's really interesting. Why is there a land made out of cheese, you ask? I have no idea, and I don't want to know what the carts end up smelling like after this, right? Like, ugh. Anyway, there's going to be a really fun U-turn this way that allows you to jump over there. You can do another U-turn right out this way, jump over this way. So this cheese line is pretty fun. Watch out for the little Mousers over here because they will end up spinning you out if you do end up touching them. So just be careful, just like that. Oh my gosh, Mousers, man! Alright, the last level of the Flower Cup is none other than Bowser Castle 2. Excited for this one. There are a lot of right-angled turns. There's some zippers on board. A lot of womps that want to come down over here. These little thwomp guys. And, yeah, areas where you can potentially fall into the lava with exposed walls over this way. Yeah, be careful. Make sure you know how to do your power slides accordingly. Going down the middle of the lane over this way is great. Doing a nice little turn around the corner there. Watch out for the thwomps. And you're all set and ready to go. Alright, Flower Cup is in the book. We have a couple more cups to do. Let's jump into the Lightning Cup and show you exactly how cool these levels are, especially Sky Garden. First level right over here is none other than Luigi Circuit. Yeah, he gets his own level again, and you can see over here that he's got a gigantic blimp. Excuse me? When do we ever see that blimp, or when do we see him use it? You'll also see over here that this has a lot of U-turns. The level is relatively slippery, and there's going to be some little puzzles on the floor as well, so make sure that you jump over them with the R button, and you don't spin out with those. Yeah, this one's a great way of practicing your U-turns and your mini turbos right over that way. You can see that I'm getting a couple of them consistently. Ooh boy, that's right, that's how you do it. And here we are, one of my favorite levels in all of Mario Kart Super Circuit, Sky Garden. Speaking of seeing that blimp, that Luigi blimp is right over there. Take a look. Anyway, the music in this is actually just so fun. It just really pumps you up. There's going to be a couple shortcuts that you can cut over that little part of cloud right over that way if you wanted to. Feel free to do that. Right over here is a really fun U-turn that you can do. Get a little mini turbo. There we are. Watch out for the clouds, because if you do step onto the grass or the cloud portions, you are going to slow down. Super cool level. Alright, it's time for even more Cheep Cheeps. Yes, that giant one is real. Welcome to Cheep Cheep Island, where it's home of different little crab enemies, as we've seen in the other beach levels, and a bunch of giant Cheep Cheeps. I don't really know why they're so gigantic over there. You'll see that there's a couple boost panels if you stick around to the left-hand side of the map over that way, which will allow you to make really, really fast lap times. Anyway, there's going to be some Goonies over here from the Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, and we're going to take a little boardwalk bump this way. Whoa, and finish out strong with a nice straightaway to the end. Here we go. One of the most iconic tracks in all of Super Circuit is none other than Sunset Wilds, and as you progress through the laps, the sun will actually set, believe it or not. So yeah, it's kind of still daylight outside right over here, but by the time you're on lap 3, you'll easily be able to see that it turns completely nighttime. So that's kind of unheard of in the history of Mario Kart. Anyway, you'll see a bunch of dinosaur tracks over here, and you'll also see some zippers along the way that you can use in order to boost. This is a hard part right over here because you can potentially run into a Shy Guy TP, and if you run into one of their TPs, they will completely jump on your cart and slow you down, so just be very careful about that. So the Lightning Cup is done. We have 2 more cups to go. Let's jump into the Star Cup right over this way and show you Snowland, Ribbon Road, Yoshi Desert, and Bowser Castle 3. Welcome to one of the most slippery levels in the entire game, none other than Snowland. Snowland is a little jarring because of, I don't know, the graphics are a little shaky for some reason. No idea. So those of you guys that have motion sickness, maybe turn away from this. You'll also see a lot of different things in the forms of some different off-road shortcuts. You'll see frozen lakes, which I showed you right over that way, and since I touched one of the frozen lakes, I actually spun out, and there's no way of preventing that. You'll also see that there are going to be actual lakes in this level too, so make sure that you don't go into that, and watch out for the snowmen, because they'll slow you down. This is by far one of the most fun tracks in the game, Ribbon Road. Yes, absolutely. You may have seen this remade into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and for good measure, it's actually really fun. You can see over here that there are going to be tons of zippers that you can just easily zip through and get if you know exactly where they are. Right over here, you can bounce again and keep your momentum forward. There's going to be a zipper right over here, allowing you to get that zipper that way. There's some presents. There's a whole bunch of things that you can do in this level. It's just so fast. It's so furious. And there's just, oh, I love it. The music's good too. It's so bright and cheerful as well. Anyway, that's it. The sun is out, and let's go to Yoshi Desert right over here. Now, just like Snowland before it, this one is very slippery as well because, I don't know, you're just driving on sand over here. Anyway, with this level, you'll see a lot of different elements, such as little quicksand pits. If you take a look, there's one right there, there's one to the right over here. If you touch any of those quicksand pits, you will 100% get inhaled by the quicksand, and a piranha plant will chomp on you and spit you out. So be very careful as you're going through with these turns right over here. You'll see a very cool oasis, a little snaking right here, and we are through. Here we go, it's nighttime in Bowser Castle 3. This one has a lot of the same elements as the other Bowser Castles, and I think by now you're kind of used to doing these little right-angled turns. So just be careful as you do them. There are going to be thwomps everywhere, and you don't want to get hit by any of these fireballs that are erupting out of the lava. Right over here is a pretty fun U-turn that you can take. There we go, get a little boost if you can. Right over here, watch out, there's going to be railings that are completely out, and then this part is going to be a nice diagonal into a U-turn. There we go. There we go. We're going straight now, all the way to the finish line. Say hi to Magic Koopa for me. Here we are at the Special Cup. This is a 5th cup in the game. Very excited for it. We've got Lakeside Park, Broken Pier, Bowser Castle 4, and, of course, the very unique Rainbow Road for Mario Kart Super Circuit, which I know you guys really enjoyed the N64 one, but I'm going to show you some cool things that you could do in this Rainbow Road that has never been replicated in any other Mario Kart game. Let's jump in. Here we go, we're jumping into Lakeside Park. This one's pretty interesting because there's an active volcano in the background, and there are going to be some lava rocks coming on board. So what we need to do is we need to jump on through and make sure that we do a nice job of turning through all of these crazy winding turns over this way. There's going to be the lava rocks coming right down here. As you can see, they made some different imprints into the dirt over that way. There's going to be the hardest turn in this entire level, which is right over here. If you don't do that carefully, you will potentially jump over a couple blocks, and you'll have to do that turn all over again. So anyway, do your winding tracks and finish off the level just like that. And here we are at Broken Pier, home of insane mushroom shortcuts, crazy little ghosts on the track, and tiles that if you bump into, you'll erase them and potentially fall off if you bump into that same spot again. So this level is pretty advanced if you don't know the way forward. So just be careful as you're hopping around these corners this way and doing your U-turns. Now these ghosts that are in the middle of the track over that way, they will actually attack you and slow you down if you run into them. They're pretty much everywhere, so just make sure you're taking these turns very, very tightly and watch out for ghosts. We're here at the 4th Bowser Castle. It looks pretty machine-like in appearance. I have no idea what's going on with that, but watch out for these right-angled turns and these little lava spots over here, because these lava spots will indeed allow you to fall straight into that lava. Now over this way there's tons of the thwomps. There's a couple narrow pathways here, and yeah, as you can see, there's going to be a split there with a zipper on the right-hand side. So if you want to go a little bit faster, go that way. Anyway, couple splits. You can see right over this way there's going to be some Mecha Koopas. Watch out for them because they will absolutely spin you out. And we have just a little bit more track left before we call it. Watch out for these thwomps. Oh my gosh, we're almost here. Yeah, that's it. Whew, that was hard. That's a hard level. Welcome to one of the most underrated rainbow roads in Mario Kart history, the one on Super Circuit. Now this one takes a lot of the previous rainbow roads and making it not have any railings, which is amazing. But the thing is, although they don't have railings, there are little bounce jumps on each of the edges over here. So that makes for insane shortcuts. If you take a look at the map, you'll see a lot of fun stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some real fun shortcuts that we can do. Oh, shoot, yes! That was awesome! And so that's one of the main shortcuts that you could do in Rainbow Road. Now, if you want to have some fun, you can absolutely do some crazy other jumps over here in the game. I'll show you one of my favorite ones that come up this way, only if you have a mushroom. And it's actually pretty hard to do, so let's see if I can pull it off. Yeah, there it is. Of course not. So what you could potentially do over there, if I rewind that, what you could potentially do over that way is literally jump across and then make it, just like I did over there. You can 100% do that. And then, of course, it's just Rainbow Road. So you can see over here that there are just so many things that you can do with this. If you have some mushrooms, there's a lot of creativity with bouncing across levels and really just doing some fun work like this. Oh, shit. I love this. Dude, Mario Kart, this level is just so fun. You can just see like how much fun I'm having over here because I just hopped that entire part of the track just by doing that. Just by having a mushroom. It's unbelievable. You guys thought that the N64 Rainbow Road shortcut was really good? Dude, you haven't even seen this level before. I cut off major portions of track. And this level is just begging you to do this stuff. It's crazy. It's really crazy and awesome. So that was the main 5 cups within the game. Typically, if you beat all that, that's a Mario Kart game, and you're very satisfied with the unique new tracks. But of course, if you go through the main campaign, you beat everything and get a gold trophy, and then you go through and beat it again and collect over 100 coins within the map, the entire cup, you'll then be able to unlock the corresponding extra cup. So we got extra mushroom cup, extra flower, extra lightning, extra star, extra special cup. So very excited for this. So you know what? Let's take a blast to the past and see exactly what these levels are like. If you missed the very first episode of our Mario Kart retrospective, go watch that because this is going to be a good reminder of how cool Mario Kart Super Circuit is. Not only do you get all of the main tracks, but you get the retro tracks that are going to be the exact ones from Mario Kart Super Circuit. Let's jump into the extra mushroom cup. Starting off with our retro tracks is going to be Mario Circuit 1. We remember this one like the back of our hand, and as you can see over here, they reuse the assets from any of the like Peach courses or anything like that. It's super easy, and it takes the exact same turns as it did on Super Nintendo. Another retro track is going to be Donut Plains 1. This one is very, very iconic with the bridge and the little areas that you could potentially go in the water and the U-turns around here. Of course I remember this. It's just like we did in episode 1. Look at this. We're just going to be zooming across, and the music is the same too, which is what I really, really enjoy. Here we go, we're at Ghost Valley number 1, you remember this level, and you can see on board that we do have 5 laps to take in every single one of these, so it replicates Super Mario Kart to a T. The only thing that we don't have is a Super Feather in order to take that shortcut right over that way to the left, but that's okay, I'm sure you can do it with a mushroom or a fast enough jump. Here we go, welcome to Bowser Castle 1 from Super Nintendo. Yeah, I know, the naming convention of all the Bowser Castles are pretty rough, but nonetheless, we do remember this one very, very well. Especially this U-turn right over here, man. That one is always super hard to do. And then this one too. Whoa, sweet. It's just like what it was, man. Honestly, one of the coolest levels. Bowser Castle 1. So that was the extra mushroom cup. Let's jump into the extra flower cup and showcase exactly what we showed in the Super Mario Kart episode. I'm excited for it. Let's jump in. It's time for Mario Circuit 2. Yeah, this one is quite interesting. I'm excited to see what's going to happen with it. Mario Circuit 2. Ooh, this one usually has those, like, oil slicks right over here. Yeah, okay, I'm remembering this. Yeah, there's supposed to be some oil slicks. There's supposed to be some, like, little pipes and whatnot. This is the big boost. Awesome, yeah. Very, very, very true to the original. Welcome to Choco Island. Yeah, we're here. Choco Island was really fun, honestly. I like the mud, I like the off-road sections of it, and I did indeed like all of the piranha plants, but those assets aren't here in the Super Circuit variant. But they do keep the mud, so just jump over that and you'll be all set and ready to go. It's time for Ghost Valley 2. Yeah, this one, oh my gosh, I do like this one a lot. This one's a little bit harder because of the turns that you have to do, and there is a little shortcut on the right over there if you're going fast enough. And yeah, there's no feathers in this game, so you may have to use some mushrooms in order to make it happen. But anyway, as you can see over here, pretty true to the original. Welcome to Donut Plains number 2. This one has a lot of winding track from what I'm seeing right over here on this little mini-map, so just do your thing, right? Watch out for the grass. And just enjoy the remixed version of this older Donut Plains music. There's no Monty Moles over here, so yeah, it seems like it's pretty bare bones now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, watch out. The extra flower cup is done, and now we're gonna jump right into the extra lightning cup. We got Bowser Castle 2, Mario Circuit 3, Koopa Beach, which I'm excited to see how they remade that, and Choco Island 2. Here it is, the Super Nintendo version of Bowser Castle 2. Yes, I am ready. Show me the right angle turns, man. As if we have not seen these enough in any Bowser Castles, right? Oof. Yeah, this one has the multiple turns. That's right, I do remember. So you can pick and choose which way to kind of move through here and navigate. Yeah, this one's a little easier towards the end right this way. Of course, we got this. We got this in the bag. Here we go, Mario Circuit 3. Let's jump on into it. Mario Circuit 3 was actually made in the likeness of a real Formula 1 racetrack. Did you guys know that? How cool is that? What a little bit of trivia. Anyway, coming right down this way, we've seen this level remade a couple times, especially in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and Mario Kart Tour. Super fun. Anyway, we are all set and ready to go with that one. Here we are at Koopa Beach. Yeah, I'm ready. No Koopas in sight in the Super Circuit version of this game, but we still have the Shy Guys that are kind of floating around. Anyway, this level's super short. Make sure that you're kind of driving in the actual sand versus driving inside the water, because you'll slow down in the water. Another classic track in the form of Choco Island number 2. Right off the bat, if you use a mushroom straight ahead, there's a shortcut to the left of Mario over there, so if you're looking at shaving some time, feel free to do that. Right over here is this big old mud pit. As we've seen, the traction is very slippery over here, and tons of like little bumps along the way too. Let's explore the Extra Star Cup and show you guys exactly what's happening in Vanilla Lake 1, Bowser Castle 3, Mario Circuit 4, and Donut Plains number 3. Here we go! This is it, Vanilla Lake, watch out. Ice physics, your favorite, man, I'm telling you. Of course, in this game, I don't know why, but it gets a little shaky when it comes down to this. Watch out for all these little icicles. As you can see, every time you hit one of them, it will slow you down, so just be very mindful of that. Here we go, it's Bowser Castle 3 from the Super Nintendo version of Mario Kart. Let's see how it holds up. I'm always excited to see that. I love the right angles, and I love the lava. I like the little fireballs that it occasionally will come out. And, of course, doing these crazy cool little U-turns around the corner this way. If I remember, there's some zippers over here? Oh, little bouncers. Okay, we're fine. Easy mode. We're breezing through this. And we finally made it to Mario Circuit 4, the more advanced of the Mario circuits. I like this one a lot. There's a couple spots where you can use some mushrooms in order to cut off massive chunks of the track. And unfortunately, we don't have any feathers in this level either, so we'll see what happens. Anyway, this one's a really cool U-turn right over this way, if you can get that correctly. And the one spot that I do like to use a mushroom is right over there on the right-hand side in order to cut through the sand. Donut Plains 3, the hardest of all the Donut Plains, simply because there are broken bridges and you can easily lose your grip and slip into the water, which will ruin your time. Right over here is where you do want to jump over there. Luckily, there's a built-in jump on that spot, so you don't have to rely on good timing with the R button, thank goodness. Right over here, lots of tricky turns, and you're all set. Alright, we've made it to the last cup in the entire game of Super Circuit Retro Tracks here. We're going to jump into Koopa Beach 2, Ghost Valley 3, Vanilla Lake 2, and your favorite Super Nintendo Rainbow Road. Welcome to Koopa Beach 2, home of lots of areas where you can indeed fall into deep water. Now, you have to be very mindful of what color blue the track is. You can see those darker patches over there are going to house spots where you can fall directly deep on the inside of it, so just watch out. Welcome to the hardest of the Ghost Valley tracks, Ghost Valley 3. This one is pretty interesting because it is an advanced track, and if you're not careful, you may end up falling into one of these pits, or if you take a turn completely wrong, you can easily just lose your character all the way to the depths of whatever's underneath this Banshee boardwalk. Anyway, we're coming through over here. Let's do this. Yeah, we finished. Easy. Vanilla Lake 2. This one's super slippery. Watch out, you might fall into the water or hit an ice block if you're not careful. Anyway, stick as close as you can to the left-hand side over here, and as you can see, we are jumping over all of this stuff in order to watch out for every one of these ice blocks, baby. Yeah, easy. Here we are. SNES Rainbow Road, the remake from the Super Nintendo variant. Love this level. I love this level because of how hard it is, how brutally difficult it is, because there is literally no barriers that are going to save you from falling. If you fall, that is 100% on you. You cannot blame the game. Whoa, yeah, I had to slow down really well. Anyway, gonna do a big power slide over this way, and we're gonna finish off, baby. And there you have it, all 40 of the tracks in Mario Kart Super Circuit on the Game Boy Advance. I'm excited for this, honestly. The playing through these games again was just really, really fun. I'm glad that Nintendo Switch Online allows us to go through and really preserve such a unique Mario Kart game that not too many people play. Honestly, if you have access to Nintendo Switch Online, give this game a go. Try to earn yourself some triple star ratings against the CPUs, and try to unlock those retro tracks. Trust me, you'll have a good time along the way. Anyway, on part 4 of our Mario Kart retrospective, we're going to be going over Double Dash. So make sure you guys don't miss it. That is one epic game, especially if you have another player to play along with you as like the backseat person that throws all the shells and uses all the mushrooms. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for all the support on this series. If you missed the previous episodes, go watch them because it's a 10-part series. You're going to love it. All right, that's it for me. We'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Only on Happy Kids Free, Fun, Learn.